high side. Murphy shooting, save a rebound on the view.
Hey everyone, this is Casey. You are watching the Red Rubber Duck Win All Sports Network. The regular season finale is upon us, and it is an AFC North doubleheader on Saturday as the Ravens host the Browns, and of course the Steelers will be hosting the Bengals. Of course, we're here to talk about the latter. The last time these two teams met, it was an air show in Cincinnati, which saw the Steelers come out on top, 44-38. The end of both of these Steelers and Bengals seasons are going in opposite directions. So the Steelers are currently on a 3-game skid, and they've lost control of the AFC North to Baltimore. Meanwhile, the Bengals are on a 4-game winning streak, and they look to claim a playoff spot. They would need a win, and both Denver and Miami losing their respective games to get in. As for the Steelers, they need a win, and the Browns beating and completing a season sweep of the Ravens to win the AFC North, as well as a home playoff game. There is a lot at stake for these two squads, so let's go ahead and go over what we have. Of course, the Cincinnati offense has no trouble scoring points. They scored 24 or more points in 8 straight games, including their first meeting with the Steelers and their last game in the form of a 30-24 overtime win over the Denver Broncos. Joe Burrow was having his way with the Broncos' pass defense with 412 yards and 3 touchdowns and throwing for 3 or more touchdowns in 8 straight games. The big star weapon for Burrow last week was T. Higgins with 11 catches for 131 yards and 3 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Jamar Chase had a still impressive 9 catches for 102 yards, and he still leads the NFL in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns, is more likely to be the next Triple Crown wide receiver. Another guy to watch out for is Andre Oshavis with 3 catches for 59 yards. In terms of tight end, Mike Gesicki has 10 catches for 86 yards. Even with all those yards, Burrow's offensive line has not been that big of a help. He got sacked 7 times by the Broncos pass rush. And for the running game, Chase Brown ran on 67 yards on 20 carries. However, he's on the injury report, listed as questionable with an ankle injury, so we will see what happens before Saturday. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Steelers' offense is just limping to the finish line as they've put up under 18 points in each of the last 3 games. Russell Wilson threw for 205 yards last week, but he did not have any touchdowns, and he did throw a pick. Even George Pickens, who had his return, could only muster 3 catches for 50 yards. The tight end, Pat Freiermuth, had 7 catches for 60 yards, and the running back, Jaylen Warren, had 5 catches for 41 yards. And on top of those 41 receiving yards, he had 71 yards on the ground, and Najee Harris added 74 yards, and that was just enough to get Harris to 1,000 yards on the season. The offensive line allowed the Chiefs' pass rush to have their way with Wilson, hitting him 9 times and sacking him 5 times, and that cannot happen, especially with the pass rush for Cincinnati. Now, the Steelers' defense needs to find their footing and fast, even though it might be too little too late. Because last week they gave up 29 points to the reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champions in the Kansas City Chiefs, and they gave up 27 or more points in 4 of their last 5 games, including their first game against the Bengals. The passing defense was obviously horrible last week as they gave up 320 yards and 3 touchdowns. Even the pass rush was atrocious as they couldn't sack Mahomes 1 time in 38 pass attempts. The rushing defense was okay on Christmas, holding the Chiefs to 3.5 yards per carry, 69 yards and a touchdown. I mean, nice, but not really. And the only reason why one of the top offenses in the league in the Bengals offense is not in the playoffs right now, it's because of the defense. They gave up 24 points last week against Denver as the game went to overtime, and the pass defense even picked off Bo Nix 1 time. However, they did give up 3 touchdowns to Bo Nix, including the game-tying touchdown with a few seconds left. The pass rush was able to sack Bo Nix twice, and Trey Hendrickson is still tied for first in the NFL in sacks with 14 sacks. The rushing defense is going to try their best to step up as they gave up 123 yards on the ground, and they need to, especially with Harris and Warren on the other side. Now, this game is probably going to be the easiest to predict, as a lot of people are not going for the Steelers. And honestly, I don't blame them. They've been on a 3-game losing skid. They performed poorly against the Eagles. They performed poorly against the Ravens, and they performed poorly against the Chiefs on Christmas. And for some reason, I feel like this is not going to be any different. I'm going to say that the Bengals, unfortunately, take this one 21-13. I hate to say it, but right now, with the way they've been playing, the Steelers are not looking like a playoff team. Do you want to go to the playoffs, or do you not want to? This is what message I'm going to say for the Steelers. Because right now, at this point, you're just packing it up. Now, last season I did a charity drive where I did 17 different charities in 14 different cities throughout the Steelers season because I wanted to highlight people that are doing great things everywhere. And for this last game of the regular season, and for the Cincinnati Bengals, I'll be doing the Freestore Foodbank. The Freestore Foodbank is the largest emergency food and services provider to children and families in Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, and Southeast Indiana. The organization distributes 47 million meals annually to low-income individuals and families. And also, I will put a link to the American Red Cross as they continue with rescue efforts for Hurricanes Helene and Milton. And the link will be posted along with the charity for each team going forward. But that is going to do it for me. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the River Duckman All Sports Network. I look forward to seeing you guys at, I think, either 8 o'clock or 8:15, depending on what time the game's supposed to kick off. But until we meet again, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, and as always, let's go Steelers. Please win.